Hey, everybody, welcome to our Thanksgiving special. And I am here today with my dear friend, Angel May, who is sometimes hilariously sassy, but always interesting and very thoughtful. Then we are going to talk about Thanksgiving dinner. Anybody up for that?
Oh yeah, I got a big
What
old
comes
help.
to mind first, Angel, when you hear about Thanksgiving dinner?
First
Thanksgiving.
thing comes to mind is like, please let everyone be on their best behavior.
Because what would bad behavior look like?
Let's just remember that we all love each other and that we can have differences of opinion and we can still love each other. And we know the triggers, so let's not push each other's buttons,
Right.
especially this year with, political climate that's happening right now. I really considered ordering a sign for my door that said, we are going to be a politics and religion free talk zone. But I thought, uh, you know, I really wanted to order it. I didn't. I resisted. So that's probably the first thing that comes to my mind is like, please let everyone be on their best behavior because you know the people that have strong opinions about whatever it is
Right.
and that maybe like to antagonize other people because I don't know, that's what they do.
Right.
Uh, so yes, and of course, lots of food, tons of food. And what kind of food are we going to have? Are we going to have turkey? Are we going to have ham? Are we going to go with tradition? Are we going to mix it up?
Yeah, so don't
Um,
you have a ham story for this year?
we do have a ham store. We
And I
definitely,
relate to it. I like the role that your husband played in this story because that's me.
okay. So my ham story is yesterday I was working, as all of you know, I'm a hairstylist and a positive psychologist and certified room facilitator at the master level, I guess now. I guess I'm a
I
master.
am too.
Yeah. Yes, I'm a master certified room facilitator, but I was doing hair yesterday and it was a male client and I get a phone call from my husband and he says, "Hey, honey, I'm at the grocery store and they got these hams here, these really nice hams. What do you think? Should I get a ham?" And immediately I'm like, no, we have turkey on Thanksgiving. We don't
Why
have
did you say no?
Well, I said it gently. I'm working on being more gentler about things instead of being so abrupt. And I was like, no, I don't think we need that. We're good. The menu's pretty much set because I had a vision in my mind of what the menu was going to be because I handle the holiday dinners. He does the majority of the cooking, but I handle the holiday dinners. And we have a whole day plan
And do you
starting
like having control?
just a little bit, just a
Okay.
little bit. I'm definitely working on that.
Yeah.
This story is going to be evident how much I like being in control. I'm definitely downplaying my need to be in control.
We all
Um,
do that.
mhm. So, and he circled back with, yeah, they're spiral sliced and they're this, and it's got this bone sticking out of it. And I could tell he was so excited about this. So I had a moment of realization and clarity. I'm like, this is important to him.
Mhm.
And I said, well, and here's me still holding on to control as I'm saying it out loud. I'm just realizing that. I said, well, okay, but just get a little one. We don't need a big one.
The little last.
I'm going to give you the ham, but don't come home with a big one. You better get a little one. Still trying to be in control. And he says, well, the smallest they have is like 10 to 12 pounds. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like we do not need a 12-pound ham on Thanksgiving when I have a 20-pound turkey in the fridge and a turkey breast. So because we're a white meat family. So that way we have plenty of that. So the last thing we need is more meat. And everybody really just wants the carbs anyway. They really
Right.
just
That's the good stuff.
so, and again, had that moment. And I said, that's perfect. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, 12 pounds, perfect. And it's got a big bone in it. That's great. I'm so excited. Yes, thank you. And
Yeah.
he shifted into this mode where, we know our partners and when they're really happy about something. And he was like, yes, you could tell he was like,
Yeah.
or like, I got my ham.
Right.
And let me just rewind for a second. Part of it was he said, well, I'm not sure that our daughter-in-law likes turkey. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, turkey's like chicken's cousin. Like she eats chicken. Like, I don't know. I think she eats turkey. But he wasn't thinking about himself. he was really thinking about our family as a whole. And I had really glanced over that part that
Mm,
he wants to be helpful and this is his way of contributing. And of course, we have a big house, we have really long countertops, we have plenty of room for turkey and ham.
yeah.
So
Good
that
for you.
thank you.
Yeah.
That I feel really good about this. Last night, after we visited our son, we were visiting the puppies, and it was a great evening. And we went to get something to eat. And I just, I wanted to reinforce how much I appreciated him. And I said, I just really want to thank you so much today
Good
for
for
getting that
you.
ham. And I could tell, like, he just sat up a little bit taller in his chair. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, it's really nice. It's got this big bone in it. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
know, I'm excited. Because I think my husband likes anything that has big bones in it, like the big tomahawk steaks. So
Yeah.
we're
It
definitely,
it does
um,
add flavor.
it does. The bone
Yeah.
adds a lot of flavor, and he's all about, I'm a boneless pork chop girl. He likes the bone-in pork chops.
That's good for you.
Yes.
And then
So
your client noticed your growth too, right?
oh, so that was, I'm not even sure if he noticed that there was growth. He's the husband. So he's a newer client. I just started doing his hair a couple months ago, but I've been doing his wife's hair for years.
Mhm.
And when I pivoted to, no, we don't really need that. Just get a small one. And then he went on to elaborate about the hand that it's spiral cut and has the big bone. And I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. Yes, get it. Yes,
Yeah.
we need that. We need that for dinner to be complete. And he kind of like looked at me. And after I had hung up the phone, he said, my wife does this to me, doesn't she? Like women do this. And I was like, I think good women do. I think good partnerships do. When you see
Good
that
partnerships do. I
good
totally
partnership,
agree with you.
it's not just a woman-man thing. It's a
No.
good partnership. When you
Yes.
acknowledge that your partner is trying, and it might not be the way you think it's going to look or the way you want it to look, but when you see that they're trying, it fills both of your cups. And
Yep.
now going into this holiday, both of us feeling heard, validated, seen, our needs, want, and met, rather than a power struggle over a
Right.
ham.
You both have a fresh start going into the day,
Yes.
not coming in loaded for bear, already pissed off.
Yes. And in the past, that would have been how that would have happened because
Yeah.
my need for control would have just steamrolled over that whole conversation. I'm
Right.
working, I'm busy. Why are you calling me about a ham? You're supposed to be home hours ago. Where are you?
Right.
No, just a simple acknowledgement shifted the whole thing, which is going to set us up for success going into Thanksgiving. And then
Right.
the part B of that was because we have guests pretty much all day, and we're going to be having appetizers. And my husband is a wonderful cook, and he
Yeah.
makes
You've said that a
pancakes,
lot.
crab balls. So I said, yeah, I'd really, would you do something for me and make the crab balls? And then he had his moment of like, why would we have crab balls on Thanksgiving? That's crazy talk. And
Everybody gets to do their thing.
everybody gets to do their thing. And I said, because I really want them. They're so good. I love when you make them. Everyone enjoys them so much. And again, he sat up a little bit taller, like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we just want that pat on the back.
And for both of us to,
Attaboy.
and both of our needs to be met.
Yes, absolutely.
That, isn't it enough just because I want it? That's enough just because I want it. Um,
Yeah.
So we're going to be having crab balls, ham, and turkey, along with lots of other things. My daughter really wanted mac and cheese, and again, the need for control. Like we have mashed potatoes, and I'm like,
Right.
of course we can have mac and cheese. We can have
Yeah, why not?
all carb groups can be represented. So we're going to have the stuffing, the dressing, the macaroni and cheese, the mashed potatoes, the rolls, different kinds of rolls, Hawaiian rolls, the Amish market rolls, crescent rolls. So we're going to just do it
The
up.
great food shortage is over.
It is in our house. And then the need for control over people that don't RSVP just went out the window because now we have plenty of food. So it doesn't
Bring
matter.
the neighbors.
Everybody is welcome. If you want to come sit at our table, there are plenty of chairs. I got benches. And like when I was a kid, I don't know about you at the holidays, it wasn't at the biggest, fanciest house. I remember having dinner at my aunt's house and the kids all sat on the steps. And you didn't even get your own step. You had to share your step with somebody. And, and we were
What?
we were juggling paper plates on our knees. and it was great and we loved it. So there's no shortage of seats in our home. All food groups are welcome and every person is welcome. Every being is welcome that wants to be here. And I
That's
feel
awesome.
really
I
good about this.
I have a funny Thanksgiving this year. Well, it's not funny this year. I'm coming back into normal, although it's just Anna and I this year because my brother's sick and my
Mhm.
mom's going to be with him and Annie. But Anna and I are just going. We're going out because we were
Like,
going to go somewhere and then we were going to make it. And then it's like, let's just go somewhere. And the past 3 years, I've gone to see my son in Germany
yeah.
for Thanksgiving, and I realized I'm like, God, I really enjoyed doing that because it was right after we got divorced, and it was like Thanksgiving was kind of like, oh man, like I was getting divorced and all that, and so that I had this excuse of like, oh, I can go see my son, and I really enjoyed it, and so it was 3 years, and then this year it's like, oh, so now I'm back in the States and I'm kind of reintroduced to Thanksgiving again. But it's just kind of interesting because I'm separated from family right now, and so I don't have any of those concerns, but I'm
Mhm.
well aware of them because I've gone through them for years, all the years throughout my life.
Yeah. How do you feel about being separated from other family during Thanksgiving?
Um, I miss my kids, obviously. They're with mom, and so and I get that. That's the way I want it. And but yeah, I'm close with my kids, and I'm close with some family members, but I'm really just close with my friends, and
Mhm.
so I'm spending more time with friends, around these holidays and things like that. And then Anna and I are together, and so um,
Mhm.
we're excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's our first Thanksgiving together.
Fiance.
I'm my
Yeah,
fiance.
his fiance for Thanksgiving.
Yes, it's a French word.
Well, we too are some of our children will be other places, and of course, we miss them.
Yeah.
We would love to have everybody. I can be really selfish in that way where I want everybody in
Wait,
my.
what?
I know. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. Um,
Right.
yeah, we want everybody to be here, but now the children are married, and it's not just the in-laws, it's the siblings, and the siblings are married, and then they have their in-laws. So there are so many moving parts that I never want to guilt anybody to being anywhere. Like, be
Right.
where you want to be. And I also can recognize that you may want to be here, but for whatever reason, you can't be here. And
Right.
and that's okay too. Um,
So to
so it
talk about that guilt a little bit, because that does happen a lot, especially around holidays, is we guilt people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely guilt people.
Yeah.
Um, I have in the past been guilted into,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're running to four different places, eating four
Right.
different dinners, and not being present anywhere you are because all you're thinking about is the next place you have to get to. And of
Right.
course, you're
You're watching
dragging,
the clock.
at least, yes, watching the clock and making sure the kids don't mess up their clothes because we want to like walk in,
Right.
look fresh because
You
we
don't want
want
to
everybody
look
to
better
think,
at grandma's house than over at Uncle Bill's
right.
house.
We want everybody to think, this is the first place we've been to. Look how great we are. You don't want to be the last stop where the kids got like a run in their tights and they've already lost a shoe and, all of that. And
They're
mom's just
sleeping.
completely, right, makeup smeared, the whole thing. You're all wrinkled and rumpled up. So it was a lot of pressure. And that is something that as an adult now, I am extremely conscious of never guilting our children. It is an open invitation. I make sure I give all of the information. Um, we have plenty of food, and RSVP is nice because are we expecting 20 people? Or are we expecting 40 people? It would be
Right.
nice to just be like, hey, we're going to give it a try. If you can't, that's okay too. And then for the couple stragglers that don't RSVP, because I think RSVPing is kind of a lost art. I'm
Oh,
not
big
sure
time.
why, but
Big time.
um, but being okay with that. And it's another layer of me wanting to have control of who's coming, when are they going to be here, what time are
Right.
they arriving, how long are they staying? And I'm like, okay, we have enough food to feed the neighborhood. Does
Right.
it really matter? We have enough seats to comfortably probably seat double of what I've invited. Does it really matter? We're not a sit down. I mean, obviously we sit down when we eat. It's not a sit down style. We typically do like a buffet, everybody grabs a plate, and we just want everybody to be comfortable and happy. So letting go of, excuse me, that's just another layer of control that
Right.
this year I was, because We had like one family that had an RSVP, one part of our family. And I thought, does it matter? Like, why do you care? This is a you problem, Angel. This is not a them problem. It is a me problem. So I love when I can recognize that it's not them, it's me, and can now let that go.
Yeah.
And moving forward, because we get to do this again in 3 weeks because it's
Oh,
Christmas
right.
to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So looking forward to the next holiday, it just being that much easier of letting go of control. And if my husband decides, hey, we're gonna have, I don't know, whatever he comes up with, it'll be this time it won't be a hesitation of, well, no, we don't need that. Okay, we'll just get a little one. Okay, no, all right. Like it will be met with the same enthusiasm that he called me with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I want to stick on this guilt theme because I know that it had such a big impact on my life, my own guilt and being manipulated with guilt. And but I was thinking about like your kids and how they're not as exposed because you're correcting this behavior.
Mm.
And because I also thought like because I've given my kids a lot of flexibility, but then
Mhm.
they don't show up. Like
There
and I'm
is
like,
that.
well, maybe that guilt manipulation it did
Right.
work.
But do we want to guilt people into sitting in our
No, that's the thing. And that's what I wanted to talk about because it's like they did get the results with the guilt because we were there. Like we were so obligated.
It goes back to the squeaky wheel gets the oil because you don't want to piss that person off, so you better show up. I don't
Right.
want people showing up out of fear that or
Right.
whatever that is. Like that's just I don't operate that way anymore. I want people at my table who want to be at my table or who can be at my table without stressing themselves out.
Right.
My son is a fireman. He works a lot. He works long hours. He's up for promotion. He's going to school for that. He's got a young child. If he had to work the night before or they have to go drive a half hour somewhere else, I don't want them to have to turn around and rush where they're at and then have to drive an hour in a different direction. And then the baby doesn't get a nap and all of that out of guilt. That,
Right.
that's not love.
So what would you say to
Oh.
some of our listeners that are have to deal with that guilt or there is that monster at that house that they have to go see and it's like, God dang it.
So
Wish I didn't have to go here
you don't
because
have
there's
to
a
operate.
monster in that house.
Yeah, and you don't have to operate and have tos anymore. It's going to feel really uncomfortable at first. It
Yes,
doesn't
it
have,
is.
but most likely it's going to feel really uncomfortable when you're breaking a generational habit. And typically guilt is passed down from somebody.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh, it comes down many, many generations.
Yes, and there's layers of it. So then it just gets, stacked on top of each other. But
Right.
there are no have tos in life. You have to pay taxes and you have to die. But, they haven't figured out a way not to do those two. The rest of them, it's all optional. And
Right.
you get to choose how to change that. You can choose it in a really harsh way or with love and gentleness. And when I know I'm about ready to make a tough decision or something that feels uncomfortable, because it's different, I'm like, help me see this through the eyes of love. Help me see this through the eyes of love. And
So
that,
if somebody's going to a house and they have that, I'm just going to call them the monster.
yeah,
But yeah, help. So how would you walk yourself through that? So you're going into this house, monster person,
right.
and
So
yeah,
think of, I love this acronym HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. I know when I operate in the world, if I'm showing up with any of those emotions, I'm not going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to
right.
get snappy and all of my habits that I haven't quite shed yet, I've worked on. And when I'm in a really good place, it's easy to hold that space. But if I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, she shows up. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then instead of no, we don't need a ham. No, we don't need this. It would be,
right,
why would we have ham? It's Thanksgiving. Everybody has turkey. I already have the menu planned. I even have more than enough meat.
right.
This this
And
is a
that's an
cat.
old story.
That's an old story. That's an old way of me operating in the world. And then even taking it a step further to like, where are you? I've been waiting for you for
Right.
hours. That's a really old story that I dropped a long time ago. So the progress that has been made over the last 2 years, of being immersed in RIM and just changing everything about my world is so evident this holiday season because I have so much joy and happiness. And it's
Right.
not surface level, it is literally in my core. I mean, I really threw Jim for a loop this morning because I said, what if we get a real tree this year? Because I know how much he loves them. And I thought,
Yeah.
it's really not that big a deal. Like I can string some lights on it. In the past, we stopped having a real tree several years ago because I was like, I'm done with this. It's too much work. Arrgh, I just want to plug it in and move on, and we're all going to be happy while we do it. Um, that's not the person I want to be. And now I can feel it truly in my core. I'm not just playing the role and I'm not just doing it because I think it makes him happy. I really feel the joy this year of I like the fresh tree too. I like going and picking it out. It's fun.
Yeah,
Just
it is
really
fun.
leaning into that.
Yeah.
So many things have changed.
That's
I
so great.
and you too, John.
Oh
So many.
no, I mean totally. I'm you can tell. I'm like, nope, we're doing this, we're doing this. I'm all excited about it. And
Mhm. It's
'cause, yeah,
wonderful.
that those trapped emotions that we deal with, and it can make us prickly. It's like it's like stabbing us from the inside, and we can be mean to people, and it's like,
Yes.
God, I don't want to do that, but we
Mhm.
can't stop ourselves because it's that trapped emotion.
Yes.
And it
Uh,
is hardwired and it's the hard drive. So it's faster, the
the hard
response.
drive. I
We
love that.
yell
The hard
quicker.
drive sits
What do
fast.
you, no, what, no ham, no crab balls.
Right?
And then we
And
stop and it's like, wait a minute, let me think, let my thinking catch up because those are those gut reactions that are so fast.
it's typically the people that we love the most, that we're closest to, that bear the brunt of it. When
Yep.
I think of the crap my husband has put up with for me over the years, I don't know how he
Your
hasn't
husband's
divorced.
put up with a lot of crap over there.
Oh, he's put up with a lot of my nonsense over the years. And it's so evident now and I can see it. And just, it's never too late to circle back and say, I'm really sorry that I wasn't the best version of myself in
Yeah,
this situation. And moving forward, I just want you to see that things are different and they're going to continue to get better. And because we're on the same team,
I like
we're on the
that.
same team and
Yeah,
we all love each other. Like we're
right.
all here because we love each other and we want to be together. So our holiday this year is going to look like some of our children will be here, some of our grandchildren will be here, some of them won't be, and they will be missed. And I'm going to honor them, the ones that we know can't show up, by having a little altar. I'm going to have their pictures there, and I'm going to
Oh,
make a little
nice.
plate, and I'm going to have a candle
Well
and
done.
send them love so that they are still with me on the holiday.
Yeah,
How I'm going to celebrate people that aren't physically here for whatever reason that they can't be here. Maybe they've been guilted by someone else and they're like, well, if we don't go here, there's going to be
right.
hell to pay. Um,
Guilt rules the day and they go to a Thanksgiving they don't want to go to.
who wants to choke down dinner somewhere where you've been guilted to eat it? That's the worst meal you could ever have. It doesn't,
The guilt supper.
the guilt supper, it doesn't matter if it's turkey, ham, or crab
It doesn't
cake.
matter.
Not going down
It
well.
doesn't matter who's in charge of the menu.
Uh-uh. And I love that this is now because, when we make changes, I think we're the first one to notice it. And we want everybody to pat us on the back. Like,
Yes,
I'm doing so great. Look how much I've changed.
I said
We're
I was sorry. Give me a parade.
great. And I want the ticker tape and everything with it. Um, this year, one of my family members, and I might cry, so we might need tissues.
Yeah.
She said, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you, that you're always the first person to show up. You're always the first one to say, of course, I'm there. You never guilt us about anything. You're just like, okay, whatever. And she says, I know that it probably has been disappointing in the past for you. And I just want you to know how much we appreciate you and how much we love you. And I was
Wow,
speechless. And
that's
in
so
the
generous.
past, it has been hard for me to receive that. And this time, I was able to squarely look her in the face and hold her shoulders and say, I love you so much. And all of that is because I love you and because I too really revere you. I'm just in
Mm.
awe of the wonderful mother you are. And you've shown me what patience looks like as a mother. That wasn't always exampled for me or
Uh-huh.
demonstrated. So seeing that, and we're talking about one of my daughter-in-laws, and I just said,
Yeah.
just love you so much too. And I just want you to know that I'm still going to be here, and wanted to acknowledge how much growth they've had in their relationship. Because again, when we're sitting around the table, it's easy to gossip about people's what we perceive as their shortcomings. And we forget to tell people how much we appreciate them and how much we've seen them grow too. Like we all want the pat on the back,
Right.
but we're not always handing them out. So
Right.
big shift. I mean, this was just maybe 4 days ago after the puppies were born. It was like the day after the puppies were born.
Wow, that's so great. And I do know, I can verify you are this way. Because like whenever we're in Colorado at training, you're like, nope, you just take a step back now. Whereas you used to move in kind
Mhm.
of with the fangs out.
Yeah.
And and now and I'm saying that because I'm a similar way where I've slowed my reaction time down of like I can watch it happen and then make a decision versus like kapow, like
Right.
throwing a punch.
And if I don't have an answer, it's okay for me to be like, I'm not really sure. Like, let me
Right.
give me time to think about that one. Like, I don't have to have all the answers anymore. And I love that about where I am in my life, that in the past I had to do things on my own so much. And now I have this incredible support team. And a lot of it was there all along. I just didn't recognize it or
Right.
didn't know how to either receive it, address it, whatever. Like my husband is there to support me. There was like a communication issue.
Yeah. And he adores you.
Oh, we both adore each other. We just love
Yeah.
much. And now we're able to express that without, having our hackles up over a
Right.
ham.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were talking about that, and I think it's the self-love, where
Mhm.
you were able to accept her generous gift, that
Oh, yeah.
compliment,
Yes,
that
because
you know now that that is true about you. It's
yes.
not that hypocritical piece when people are like, "Oh, you're so easygoing," and you're like, "No, I'm not." You're like under your breath. But now it's like, no, I am that way when I'm in those situations.
Yes, yes. And
And so it's a valid compliment.
yes, it definitely rang true. And that's important if it rings true and resonates as truth. And I'm thinking of a specific incident with a friend that we had fallen out with each other. We had a falling out, and her father passed away. And I showed up because that's what friends do. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you've had a falling out or not. And then I think this is really important at the holidays too. All of that other stuff doesn't really matter. Like this is a chance to have a fresh start. The holidays give you this like unconscious permission slip to have a fresh start where we can just
Yes.
leave all of that in the past and all sit at the table. And Thanksgiving, what are we thankful for? We're just thankful that we're all here together. And she's Jewish, and I sat Shiva with her for well, it was 3 days because it was during the high holidays, so we got out of 4 of the days. But I would have sat there for 7 days with her. And on the last day of Shiva, when I had left, we were outside on the sidewalk just chit-chatting a bit. And she had one of those moments where she was like holding my shoulders, and she said, I just want you to know that what happened in the past was my fault. And I can see how much grace you held for me and how much space and love. And I just want you to know how much I love you and I value you and I
Oh,
appreciate you. And it was really uncomfortable for me. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh my God.
right.
Like, and then when I got in my car, I was like, why did you do that? Like
Right.
I robbed her of that
Yeah.
experience. So again, it's never too late to circle back.
Right.
And the next day I called her, I said, I just want you to know that I love you too. And I was so overwhelmed by your words. I didn't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
And that was a year ago. So how much I've grown in a year that now I can take that in and I can truly feel that compliment. And
Right.
because we're not honoring the person who's giving it to us if we can't receive it. So just just beautiful moments. I'm just all in the
Yeah.
feels this year. So,
Yeah. Well, it's that you've done a lot of work. I mean, that's what's so great is when you are
yeah.
on target and doing the work, and then you start to see the results, and it's like, holy crap, that's
And
amazing.
so are you. You're doing the
Yeah,
work.
no,
You're
I'm
upset too.
happy and just like doing this, just being joyful and talking to my friend about Thanksgiving, and
Because there can be some landmines. There can
oh, there
be.
always are. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always stuff out
So
there,
let's
but
talk
how do
about
you,
that. Like,
yeah,
what do you do to prepare yourself if in the past, or let's say if you were going to a holiday where you're like, oh, there's going to be some landmines there.
yeah,
What would you do to prepare yourself for that?
drink.
I don't drink anymore. I was
I know
thinking
I
about
don't drink anymore.
it.
It's almost 13 years.
Yeah. Well, for me now, it's been 15 months of sober, giving up,
Congrats.
thank you. I feel
Big
amazing.
deal.
And there was that little whisper of like, well, maybe we'll just have a little glass of wine
Well,
to just
something.
take the edge off. And I'm like, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that
Oh,
anymore.
because all you're doing is sharpening the edge. I love it when people say that. It's like, oh, take the edge off. It's like, yeah, there's
Oh,
another edge back there because I know.
yes. And that was demonstrated to me with alcoholism in my family, where our holidays were such a disaster.
Nightmares.
My grandmother, God rest her soul, she was a drinker. I come from a long line of drinkers, so I
Oh
don't want to just
yeah, we
call
were
her out.
drinking
I come from
champagne
I
all the
come from
time.
a long line of drinker,
Kids.
and the holidays were a permission slip to
Yes.
sloshed. So you always made sure that you ate before you go over there because we're not eating dinner at any normal hour. And as the day goes on, the chef is going to get drunker and drunker. Family members are going to get louder and louder. Somebody's going to get in a fight in the driveway. I mean, somebody actually drove their car into the in-ground pool one year. Drove her car
Like the bear.
fence into the in-ground pool. When I
Yep.
saw that episode of The Bear, I was like, "Whew, well, at least we didn't have anybody," because that was my family. And I'm like, there was hidden cameras. They have based this off of my family's holidays.
Yeah. No, you
I
had a
mean,
really
you're not
strong
eating till
reaction to that.
midnight. You are starving. I mean, I remember being a kid, like starving, like I'm so hungry. And leaving one year and begging my mother to stop at McDonald's because I was still starving when we left
Oh,
because
geez.
I think we left like we didn't even eat dinner yet.
Yeah.
So we're leaving at 1 in the morning and we still haven't ate yet because the
But
person
there
was
was
talking.
booze though, right?
Oh, there was plenty of booze, plenty of booze, plenty of booze, plenty of arguing, plenty of fighting, plenty of gossiping. Um,
Ham, booze. That's the old days. Booze was at the top of the list.
oh yeah, I mean, forget about what's on the menu. Like
Oh, it was always about the booze.
who's setting up the bar? That was the important part.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
but yes, I did have that response, that reaction where I thought, well, at least nobody ever drove a car through the house. And then
Yeah, but they did.
my cousin reminded me, yeah, but remember when she drove it into the pool? And I was like, oh yeah.
It's
I
amazing,
didn't
but
even,
it's that. And if we can just talk about the bear for a minute, it was
yeah.
because the booze is involved. And let's not pull any punches here. Booze is involved in holidays.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's
Not in
no
our house.
question about it. Everybody can pretend like, oh no, it's all under control. No, it's not. So
It's
let's
not.
just own this. So in the bear, the episode that we talked about,
Mhm.
um, Jamie Lee Curtis, who I don't, did she get an Emmy for that scene? Because that was crazy good.
She should have. If she
She
didn't,
should have.
I hope she
But
did.
so she just kept escalating, and the victim, being a victim, just kept
Yes.
escalating.
Yes.
And
That's
it's like, how do you manage that when they're in charge? She's cooking, so she's head of house,
Mhm.
and this mood that just keeps going down.
Yes, and everybody falls into this is really interesting. This is juicy here
It is
that
tricky.
we can fall so easily into familiar roles. Whether you're the baby, you're the oldest, you're the middle child trying to fix everything because her daughter's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Mom, are you okay? Are you okay?"
Right.
I mean, I was watching it and it was driving me insane. So I could see who's, who's pretty, three sheets to the wind, she's definitely heading in that direction.
Right.
Um, it escalates it. And you're right, the energy and the victimization. Like nobody appreciates me.
Right.
I'm doing all of this.
Nobody.
I'm slaving over this meal and none
Yes.
of you appreciate it. None of you love me. And you're like, oh my God, here we go again.
Right. And everybody was already guilted into being there. So
Yes,
they're
because
under
nobody
the
wanted to be there.
guilt.
Nobody wants to be there.
Nobody wants to be there.
Nobody wants to be
And then
there.
she's doing it. So people are going to face this on
Mhm.
Thursday.
And there's a beautiful, I think it was at the end of the first season with that, and I could really relate to that on both ends. One with my, specifically with my maternal grandmother. I'm not sure she ever had the awareness before she passed away of that type of behavior, but Jamie Lee Curtis plays this role amazing.
So
It
good.
was so uncomfortable for me to watch, so painful to see when they're opening up this new restaurant and she shows up and her daughter's pregnant and she wants to be there for the opening and she leaves. She leaves without seeing her daughter because she knows that she's going to ruin it. She knows that she can't hold it together and she's going to ruin this beautiful moment for her children. So the only thing that she can do is leave. And I identify with that in the past so much because I was out of control. I was out of control with my emotions. Definitely
Me
substances
too.
added to
Yep.
that, whether it
Me
was
too.
alcohol or I can't smoke in here. So now I'm like a nervous, fidgety wreck because nobody knows I smoke and I can't do this and, all of the stuff. And I felt for her and I felt it in my soul of that moment of, the best thing that I could do is not be here because I know that I can't control myself and I'm going to ruin it for everyone else. And an incredible show, just an incredible
So
show,
good.
touched on so many things that
Yeah.
very relatable for me in my life and the gratitude that I have of not being in that space anymore, not guilting people anymore. I'm not going to be guilted anymore. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, that's just a no for me. And I don't have to do it in a mean way. It can be in this very gentle, like, yeah, that's just a no. Not
Yeah.
gonna, it's just a no.
Well, and I think especially this particular topic, you have so much to offer. I mean, men and women, but women especially. I mean, you've done so much work in this arena, and you're amazing at it. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. I'm really curious to see like what next year will be like.
right.
This year is so
I'm
amazing.
going to
Like,
be married next year at this time.
that's right. Husband and wife.
Yeah. I know, and
Yes.
me on my high horse. I'm never getting married again. Blah 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 blah.
I know.
I was like, I'm like so excited I can't even stand it.
I'm so excited for you, for
Yeah.
Anna, for your wedding, for all of this. It's just
Yeah, and it's just all, well, when you met me, it was, this guy's just pissed off. A
I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
little bit chaotic and just
Oh,
so all, like you said, just burbling with emotions. They're just coming out everywhere.
I mean, I was just leaving a blood trail of emotions behind me. I mean, I'm just like bleeding on everyone. Like, yeah, you get some and you get some. I'm like
Right.
the bad version of Oprah. I'm just like handing out all that crap that
Well, it
nobody
is. It's like
wants.
you're bleeding from the inside. You don't know
Really
what's
wants.
going on.
Yeah, I was just bleeding out all of that pain, just so much pain, which
Yes.
then transmutes into anger and frustration. And that's the part that people really see. They're not seeing the pain that's underneath
No.
of it. They're seeing like she is unhinged.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like,
And they don't know. And it's literally like you're being attacked from your inside.
yeah.
And that's
So,
what we're reacting to. And it's like, God, what's wrong with them? It's like,
right, because not
why
many
are you
people,
yelling?
you haven't done the work. Not many people are going to say, geez, I wonder like what happened to them. People
Right.
will be like, what's wrong with them? Like, oh, there she goes again. Like we can predict that. Set your watch by it.
Right.
No, nobody wants to be around that. So
No.
I think holding that space, then you become the person that people gravitate to. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna skip Bam Betty's this year. We're gonna go over here instead, because that's a fun house. And I even said, how about if we step it up and we maybe do a fun game? We got the basketball net. We could do like flag football. Just something fun. So we all get outside, run around, burn off the kids burn off some energy. Everybody
Yes.
have a good time. It doesn't have to be prim and proper and we all get dressed up and we're just going to sit around and,
Right, and
it's,
act better. Well, it is. It's like one of the points we were going to talk about today is like when people are down and out,
Mhm.
are people reaching out with kindness, or are they just, is there some Schadenfreude going on where it's like, suck it, you're having a shitty year, I'm having a better year, or are people reaching out and being like, hey, I love you, how's it going? I
Yes.
heard you lost your job, or I heard, whatever, a divorce, anything. We all have these pains in our lives. I have a daughter that doesn't, she's not talking to me. And so it's like, God, it's really painful. I have that as I walk around. And if I'm going to yell at people because of that, it's not very nice. I still have the pain and I'm aware of it.
Mhm.
But it's
Yeah.
it's it's tough. People are facing tough challenges this week.
And the holidays, they amplify all of that because of what society and especially like the media says it should be. I was talking with clients about this, my hair clients about it. Nobody sees the crazy drama. Nobody sees the Jamie Lee Curtis with 50 million timers and there's food on the ceiling and
Right. The timers. I forgot about the timers.
liquor bottles everywhere and somebody's pouring out her drink and she's like, where's my drink? Nobody sees all of that. What they see is what's posted on social media, the pretty picture, the pretty table, the pretty clothes. They don't see, you got the stain on your shirt or the run in
Right.
your hose. We don't show that. We edit that out. We filter that to whereas this is real, this is what real life is. And you're so right. Are we reaching out to those people that we know maybe they don't have family? Like we have, this is my son's friend and wife, and their children are coming because they don't have family to spend the holiday with. Um, or maybe there's that lonely neighbor that,
Right.
they don't have anybody. Like maybe just walk over. And even if you don't invite them to sit at the table, you could still walk over a plate of food to them.
Hmm.
You'll walk over a piece of pie to them. You could still just call and, hey, Miss Betty, how you doing today?
Right.
How you feeling? Is there anything I could do for you? It's these tiny acts of kindness that if we practice them on a regular basis, it just becomes who we are. We don't even have to
Right.
think about them anymore. This morning, picking up my contact lenses, it's as soon as it opens up and there's a line
Is it
already, and everybody.
Costco?
No, I did not go to Costco because I'm still on my trial lenses. We're bumping up my prescription, so now I can see without glasses, which is really
That
fabulous.
is nice.
Um, and so I got there early because I'm like, I don't want to have to wait. Let's get there right away. Just bang it in and out. And there's already four people, and I'm like, there's a woman there, and this is where the judgment part comes in. I'm like, oh my God, this
So we
lady's
haven't
irritating.
lost it completely.
No, no, I am still me after all. I am still
Oh,
me. And
I still got mine.
my good friend Chris Sargent reminds me of that all the time because I think, look at me, look how good I am. And then I fire out an email and I didn't proofread it, and there's something wrong on it, like a critical part that the solstice is on Thursday, the 21st. And he's like, it's a Saturday, babe. And I'm like, damn it. I would try it. And he's like, you're still you after all. You're just an evolved version of you, but you are still you. You don't proofread things. It is a fact. Typos everywhere, run-on sentences. So I've now embraced AI, and she's helped me clean up my act a little
Oh,
bit. If you
so
get an,
helpful in correcting.
if you get an email that doesn't have any typos or mistakes in it, AI cleaned it up. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Like, so back to the eye doctor. So I get there and there's like four people waiting, and there's the woman who's pressing the button over and over and over again, and her computer's frozen and she's still pressing the button over and over again. And the woman sitting next to her says, maybe just stop pressing the button. Just give it a minute. You keep pressing the button, it doesn't really help. And I'm watching this exchange and I'm like, man, she's got patience. She sits next to this chick all day and she has the patience of a saint. So she's the lady that's working this morning. There's four people waiting and nobody's in a line. So who's next? Nobody knows what's going on, right? Everybody's like here. And she's like, I'm going to get behind you because you were before me and you were here. And I'm just kind of standing back, like, not my circus, not my monkeys. I just need my contacts. Like, can I just
Yeah.
skip the line? I'm thinking. So the one man at the beginning of the line So the woman behind him says, I'm not in a hurry. Don't worry. I'm not in a hurry. So just da, da, da. And then they're going down the line, the three people in front of me, like, I'm not in a hurry either. Let's just take it. I said, I'm in a hurry. Can I go in front of all of you? And she kind of looked at me for a second. I said, I'm totally joking. It's just trying
Or
to make
not.
a situation. And we both had this deep belly laugh. Everybody in line now is laughing.
Oh,
2 days
good.
before Thanksgiving, we've all got stuff to do. I'm sure we all have places to be. I hope we all have places to be. And I thought, like, let's just laugh. Let's laugh about it. So we're
Yeah.
all like cracking up laughing about the lady in the back. And there's, as you know, sometimes I like to get a little she dressed up. So I had my, fancy
Wait,
coat.
what?
I know. I am still me after all.
You are
9
still
in the
you.
morning, going to the eye doctors. I have to have my grandmother's camel hair fox coat on
Dripping in jewels.
to pick up my contacts because I am still me after
You
all.
are still you, and that's great.
Because I love that. The coat's the coat, and people can feel the way they want to feel about furs and things like that. Me personally, I feel like I'm honoring the animal by wearing my grandmother's coat, and I'm honoring my grandmother. So I was walking around today with that, and plus it looked good with my outfit.
No, I grew up with, fur coat in the Midwest, cold, and they
Yeah.
were Sundays there. I love them. I think they're beautiful on women and
Yes. So this is a vintage coat. The coat's probably 80 years old, and I'm
yeah.
gonna wear it because I love it, and it reminds me of my grandmother, and it makes me happy. But I'm
Yeah.
sure there probably was some judgment about. Of course, it would be the lady in the back with the fur coat on who's like, "I'm in a hurry. Can everybody get out of my way?"
I'm in a hurry at the picking up my contacts.
But
Must
I
be
feel like
nice.
this could be a moment where we could all just be, like we're in the elevator, like we're all going to pretend like,
Right.
or we can really embrace each other and have this camaraderie, like we're all in the same boat. Yeah, so I started my day with a good laugh, and that just carried on through the rest of the day.
That's
And
awesome. So what do you got for tomorrow? And then Thursday, obviously, is Thanksgiving. But what do you got for tomorrow?
tomorrow I am working in the morning, and then I'm going to do as much preparation as possible so that the day is that much smoother and I can really enjoy my guests, and not be running around like Jamie Lee Curtis with a million timers going on.
Nobody loves me.
Helps me. Nobody helps me. Nobody
Nobody
appreciates
helps
what I
me.
do. So if I
Meanwhile,
don't,
your son is like this best chef in the world.
oh my gosh, right? So tomorrow, also, my youngest daughter is going to come, and she is going to make the mac and cheese. Of course, she
So
asked me to go to the
awesome.
store and get all the ingredients,
Yeah,
but she's going to come and make the mac and cheese. And this might be a tradition now that we have
that's
until we
great.
stop doing it, because I don't want to also be attached to these things anymore.
Right,
Like,
because you might have a
don't
new
let it,
idea next year.
yeah, let it be a tradition until it's not. So
Lobster ball.
yes, we're going to make the mac and cheese. I will have everything cut up, all the cheeses. I'm going to try my best to make one of those salami roses. Say a prayer, light a
You
candle.
have to make it now. It's not
I
try.
know.
You
I
got to
threw
do
it
it.
out there.
I want a
So
picture.
I'm probably, oh, there's going to be pictures. Be prepared. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. So the charcuterie board, everything will be prepared, and then it's just put out, which I know is preparing me for a successful day of not waiting until the last minute and being super stressed out. And there's some things that we're just going to let that go, like doing the unnecessary things because it's photo worthy, or we want people to be like, oh, look what she did, kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
I love a good salad, a spring salad mix. And to me, the holidays are the perfect time to really show that off. I made a dressing out of cranberry sauce and orange. It's a vinaigrette. It's delicious. And I have the candied pecans and I have some goat cheese and all the stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to have this beautiful salad to start with. Here's the thing about Thanksgiving. Nobody wants to eat salad.
Nobody wants salad.
Nobody wants salad.
No.
Okay. So we
But
let
it's
that
a beautiful salad. And just this
beautiful
the
salad.
description of it is beautiful.
It's lovely. We're going to
Yeah.
let that go because all that's going to do is stress me out more. So I'm cutting the things, cutting off the dead weight, things that don't need to happen that I'm doing because I want people to look at me in a certain way. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she's really got it together over here
Right.
with this fanciness. We
Yeah.
don't do that. Everybody just wants the carbs. They
They do,
want
and they want to be together. And I just, my hat's off to you because you are that person. Like you are going to make it really nice and fancy, and it's going to be very loving, and you're going to be interacting with everybody. And I know that about you because that's who you are. You're not, I would imagine there probably were a few years ago, I didn't know you then, but there was probably a lot of obsessing over the perfection of it.
lunatic, lunatic, like
Right,
absolutely.
but
Yeah.
you really are this way. So it's possible. I mean, it's possible for all of us. I've made gigantic changes.
Yes. Last year in particular, I had a foot injury. I had had a pinched nerve.
That's
I was
right.
on a lot of medication,
Falling downstairs and stuff, weren't you?
down the stairs. I had shingles on my face, and
Oh,
this
I
is
remember that.
when we heal, our body then relaxes enough to, it's safe. It's safe now. Before it wasn't safe for me to experience these injuries, illnesses. So now it was, and I'm not saying that's why it happened, but it was a lot in a short period of time. And I was on a medication, I was on steroids, to help aid the healing, which then amped up anything negative that was
Oh
in,
yeah,
like
full of attitude.
oiled
Piss and
up.
vinegar.
Oh yeah. So there was a moment where I was not, look, I'm doing this, I can tell. Like, there was a moment when I wasn't the best version of myself.
Another head comes out.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
I
Um,
remember when you had the shingles because that's I mean, you're a beautician, so beauty's part of your life. And
it was, I mean, yeah, the beauty was part of it, but the pain, I
the
mean, it was
pain, no, it was just
iron pressed to my face.
yeah.
So all of that probably within a 6-week period. And in the mornings, we live in the country, and there's fox hunting here. They don't actually hurt the fox, they just chase them around. But it's all about tradition, and it's all
Yeah.
about status. Who's the first? Who's this? Who's the head person? And the hounds, they're not dogs, they're hounds. The hounds come running in, and it's this big event where people do
Release the hounds.
release the hounds, where we do tailgating and white tablecloth tailgating, and everybody's in their furs and dripping in their jewels. And some people, my husband being one of them, is going to be in his Carhartts and his,
Yeah.
muck. So all demographics and experiences are represented. And I was representing the other side of that, the white tablecloth, and like, look at us, aren't we fancy? Me and my fancy
But
girl. And something happened. There's people do bring their dogs, and our little pup, Georgia, who I think you all know Georgia at this
yeah,
point,
yeah, tiny little
uh,
Georgia.
a golden retriever, totally out of character, picked her up by her head and shook her. And I had yanked her out of her mouth, and the woman tried to apologize to me. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is she okay? And here is Angel, not being the best version of herself, on steroids, that says, "Oh, okay. That's it's okay." Like a lunatic. So luckily, my best friend's husband is our vet. He looked her over. I think he was more trying to calm me down than
Yeah.
actually. And my dog was like, I mean, she had gotten picked up by her head, and she's a bit dramatic. We don't know where she gets that from. But like
She's
mother, like,
little though. That would be scary.
it was scary. If somebody picked me up by my head and shook me, I'd be screaming
With
too.
their mouth? Yes, I
No.
think you would be scared.
So it was just a heightened emotion, and settled down. She was fine, came back. And thank goodness for the drunk Karens of the world. And that's not this person's name, but we're just going to say that. And I'm sitting there, and I got my big sunglasses on, and the tears are starting because now I've settled down a little bit, and I'm feeling very remorseful for screaming at this woman, who I don't even know, by the way. And she comes over, and she's like, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Because it's 9 a.m. and she's already, half a bottle in. And and I'm just like, I don't know. I just completely lost it, and I'm so sorry. And I was like, where did she go? I'm like, I don't even know. I need to apologize to her. And I was like, she's like, fuck her. She's like, she wasn't even invited.
Just minimizing her.
Totally minimizing what happened. So as I'm sitting there, and I really do appreciate her normalizing, it's the holidays and these things happen.
Yeah.
These things happen.
They do. There's so much
They
stress
happen.
in the air.
She's like, look at you, Angel. You're in a boot for goodness sakes. You're on a double pack of steroids and you still showed up like none of that is going on. You've got this
Yeah,
beautiful
that's true.
display. So maybe just kind of give yourself a break. And I'm like, okay, okay, trying to pull it together. And then I was like, do you think anybody heard me? So the layout of this place is we have to have the prime spot because I parked the cars there the night before to make sure we're at the top of the hill so everybody can see us and how fabulous we are. And what happens is the priest comes. This is a 300 plus year tradition where he blesses the hunt so that it is a successful hunt, no one is hurt, and it's bountiful to sustain through the winter. Like I said, no animals are hurt during this. It's
Yeah.
just tradition. Now, so the priest is getting ready to speak when Angel at the top of the hill loses her mind and starts screaming, the top of her lungs. So,
Funny.
oh yeah. So I say to Karen, I'm like, do you think anybody heard me? And she's like, I mean, yeah, definitely. 100%. Everybody heard you. She said, in fact, I think you should give the blessing because nobody can understand what the priest says. He sounds like he's got a mouthful of marbles, but everybody clearly heard what you said. So we're
That's
nominating you.
funny.
And then I was
So
like,
did you do the
"Oh."
blessing?
I did not, but I think they threw my name in a hat for maybe next year. So, and the pivot on that is this year, the weather's supposed to be total crap. Crap. I have been preparing for this for months. I have my outfit planned. I am
Of
ready
course
to
you do.
go. Of course I do. I mean, I've made chocolate dip spoons over the top. Does it need to be this?
Wow.
No, doesn't need to be this.
No,
But,
it's
I'm
fun.
gonna
You
make it
like
that
it.
because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But made the decision, the weather's going to be terrible. It's going to be raining. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. So we're not going to do that this year. We're not doing it this year.
Good.
I'm going to set myself up for success this year by not overstressing myself, overtaxing myself like I did last year when I was sick, I was injured, I was on heavy duty medications of the steroids, which if anybody's been on steroids, can make you a little crazy.
Cray, cray.
Just a little bit. Like, so instead of stressing out about that, schlepping all this stuff in the rain and the wind and trying to keep stuff dry, I've just decided, you know what? We're just going to call it now. I'm definitely not doing the tailgate. And maybe there will be people there that are like, I thought you were going to have food and drinks and a hot chocolate and the chocolate spoons. And you know what? It's raining and it's windy and it's cold. And we just decided not to.
And you
And
chose not to. That's the whole point.
and I'm
Why
doing
not?
it ahead of time. I'm not waiting until the last minute because I already know I don't want to do it. I
Right.
don't want to start my day that way where I'm cold, wet, and miserable.
Right.
So,
And you're not getting stuff done at home.
right. So, yeah, just decided and it felt really good. And I didn't feel guilt or shame about doing what's best for me and my family as we move forward with this holiday season, because that's what can trip you up is the guilt and shame.
Oh, absolutely. So do you have any parting words for our audience here?
Any parting words? Set yourself up for success. Think about the things that really stress you out. And if you don't want to do them and you can't do them with love and joy, don't do them. If you don't want to go there, don't go there.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the fact that it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It might feel a lot uncomfortable because you're breaking generational patterns. But think of the joy that you will have. Do the things that you really want to do. Lean
Mm.
into those things. And if you're in a circumstance, for whatever reason, it's not the most ideal, choose to be there with joy. Choose to look at everyone and the entire situation through the eyes of love. If you have that one person that gets under your skin like a tick, love them
Yes.
even more.
That's what
Lean
I
in
was thinking. Be
even
loving.
be loving towards them.
Yeah.
Lean into it even more and watch how it shifts because it will. It's like if you mix vinegar and baking soda together, it's going to bubble up. It is a guaranteed recipe that
Right.
works. If you lean into them with more love, more compassion, more understanding, more empathy, it's it's going to shift everything. I
Yeah.
promise. It's a recipe that is tried and true. How about you? Any parting advice that you have?
Yeah, I am, and really that loving, because I've been talking to my kids about it too in in their relationships, and I'm like, I've really learned to just be more loving when I'm going into any kind of encounter. Like I stop and I'm like, all right, be loving. Even if it's something that's like I know is gonna piss me off. It's like if I can come from a place of love where it's like, okay, I just got to get past this. But like I said, I'm hedging my bets a little bit. Anna and I are just going to dinner. I'm making it real easy for myself, but I'm making it real easy for myself because we have conflicts in our family. So my mom just turned 90 today, actually.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. And but my brother is sick and he and I aren't communicating. And so it's just kind of, it's a little awkward, but I'm with Anna and I'm excited about that. And I can talk to my friends. And so I'm just easing into it. So I'm not participating in the big game like you are,
Yeah.
but maybe
So
next
I,
year.
I do have a question though,
Yeah.
because you said that there are parts that are uncomfortable, like your brother's sick, you're not speaking with him, your one daughter. So what are you doing for yourself with those feelings and emotions? How are you handling that?
Well, I acknowledge it.
Mhm.
I know and I've accepted it. That's one of the things that's helping me with it is like, okay, it's time. Like it might not be time with my brother because he's got pancreatic cancer. He's very sick.
I'm sorry.
But thank you. But I've made many efforts to try to communicate and it's not there. And so I've accepted that. It's like, it's okay. And my daughter is just one of those things where I'm hoping that it comes back down the road, but right now I can be with it. Like I can live with it. I don't love it by any stretch. And it hurts. And it's also something that's out there. This parental alienation is real.
It's such a
They
thing.
say it's like up to 25% of the population does not talk to their parents.
I
And
have so many clients. And in my circumstances with the people that I know, it seems like it's a mother-daughter thing.
yeah,
It is, I mean, I've had brief moments where my daughter and I have had like a
yeah,
conflict and we don't talk for a couple of days and it rips me to shreds.
yeah,
So I just want to acknowledge how I understand how painful that is for you and
yeah.
that you
Thank
hold
you.
space with grace and that you're not bleeding out emotions onto everyone.
Right.
You're hurt and that you're taking care of yourself and what's best for you. And now for your fiance, soon to be wife Anna, who I can't wait to meet
Yeah,
because you just light up when you talk about.
I do.
Yes. And I know for you, like you're choosing an amazing partner because you're a different person.
Right. And yeah, you've seen that change because I was like rejecting her, but it was really I was rejecting myself. I did not like myself, let alone love myself.
Yeah. So going into the holidays, that would be the big advice. Love yourself, love everybody else, see it through the eyes of love. And if we have those people for whatever reason they can't be there, do something special to honor them in whatever way resonates for you. For me, it's going to be having a photo, having a little altar, and I may even make a little offering plate where it's just there for them because
Oh,
I
that's
believe
nice. I
that.
like that.
I believe in the energy of that. I'm also a Christian. I also go to church. I also pray. And I can also do these little rituals that really make me feel better about whatever I'm feeling. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed talking to you today about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, it is fun. We'll have to do this, ongoing, like
Definitely.
do a thing. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Happy Thanksgiving to you and Jimmy and the family and
Yes.
Pam and Georgia and everything.
Yes, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to Anna and to your extended family and your children. I can't wait to meet everyone at the wedding. I'm
Yeah, the wedding.
about that. And we get to do this again in 3 weeks for Christmas. So maybe we'll meet again and
That's
talk
right. We
about things
will. Our
that work.
Christmas special.
Yes, the things that work, the things that did, and the things that we want to change. And as we're talking, I'm watching a family of deer come through my yard.
Nice.
I
Do you
think
have
that's
snow?
so. What's that?
Do you have snow?
No, we don't have snow. There's no
Okay.
snow here right now. It was actually a beautiful day. It was kind of warm, but I don't think there's any irony lost on the fact that I have a family of deer coming through my yard right before one of our biggest family holidays is
Great.
Thanksgiving. So what an appropriate way to end. So thank you for taking the time to be with us. And
Yes.
happy
Have a
Thanksgiving.
great day, great week.
You too.
All right.